Way number 13 has to deal with temperature, and temperature means the average kinetic energy of a substance. Please note that for this definition, temperature does not depend on the mass of the substance. So when evaluating a list of substances and it's asking you which one has the highest average kinetic energy, the only thing you have to look at is the temperature. Please note that for these problems, they may try to trip you up by including temperatures in Kelvin and temperatures in degrees Celsius. So you'll need to use table T in order to convert between degrees Celsius and degrees Kelvin. Kelvin. So let's look at some problems that deal with this idea and see if we can use it to answer these questions. Given samples of water, sample 1 is 100 grams of water at 10 degrees Celsius. Sample 2 contains 100 grams of water at 20 degrees Celsius. And it's asking, compared to sample 1, sample 2 contains Okay, please note that sample 1 and sample 2 both contain the same amount of mass, but sample 2 is at 20 degrees. Because it's at 20 degrees higher than 10, that means its molecules are moving at a faster average kinetic energy than sample 1. Because these molecules are moving faster, we would expect sample 2 to contain more heat energy. You should have been able to eliminate answer choice 1 and 2 because sample 2 is already at a higher temperature. Therefore, it cannot have a lower average kinetic energy, or its molecules should not be moving at a lower average velocity. Let's try another problem. The temperature of a substance is a measure of When you see Regents problems that mention temperature, you should immediately think average kinetic energy. So you should have immediately gone to answer choice 1. Temperature is a measure of the average kinetic energy of its particles. This is what it means by definition. Let's try another problem. The average kinetic energy of water molecules decreases when, please note that for these answer choices, it gives you water as the substance, and it also specifies the phase that water is in. L means liquid, S means solid, and G means gas. But it's asking you for the average, which one shows an average kinetic energy of water molecules decreasing or dropping. So we also need to note the temperature of these various substances in order to evaluate which one of these answer choices shows a decrease. Please note that all the answer choices are in Kelvin, so there won't be any conversion necessary to answer this problem. After looking at the answer choices, the only one that shows a decrease in average kinetic energy should show a corresponding drop in temperature. Note that we start at 337 Kelvin and drop to 300 Kelvin. All the other answer choices show the temperature either remaining constant, meaning the average kinetic energy remains constant, or it increases, like in answer choice 3, which means that the average kinetic energy is increasing because the temperature is increasing. So we can eliminate answer choices 2 through 4 because they either remain constant, like in answer choice 2, or they show an increase in temperature. We're looking for a decrease in average kinetic energy, therefore a decrease in the temperature. Which temperature represents the highest average kinetic energy of the particles in a sample of matter? Please note that for these answer choices, it gives you 2 different units, Kelvin and degrees Celsius. So you're either going to need to convert all the values to degrees Celsius or convert them to Kelvin. How do you convert them? You need to look at the last page of your reference table in order to find the formula that converts degrees Celsius to Kelvin. Okay, to convert degrees Celsius to Kelvin, all we have to do is add 273 to the degrees Celsius value. When we do that for answer choice 3, 273 plus 27 will give us 300, and 273 plus 12 will give us 285. So 300 and 285 Kelvin. Which one shows the highest average kinetic energy of the particles? Well, it's going to be the one with the highest temperature, which is answer choice 3, corresponding to 300 Kelvin. Here we have a sample of water that is boiling as heat is added at constant rate. Which statement describes the potential energy and the average kinetic energy of the water molecules? Again, when looking at problems that involve average kinetic energy, think temperature. Here it indicates that the sample of water is boiling as heat is being added at a constant rate. You have to remember that when a substance is boiling, it's at its boiling point. But the temperature at boiling is constant. So use this information in order to figure out what the correct answer choice is. Since water boils at 100 degrees Celsius and only at 100 degrees Celsius, we expect the average kinetic energy to remain constant. As a result, any answer choices that shows the average kinetic energy increasing, we can eliminate. Answer choice 2 and 4 are therefore wrong. But it does tell you that this boiling sample of water has heat being added to it. It takes energy to convert that liquid into a gas. So what that means is the molecules need to absorb heat energy in order to convert to a gas. Therefore, we should expect its potential energy to increase. So the answer choice has to be 3. Why? The boiling point remains the same at 100 degrees. Therefore, its average kinetic energy remains the same. But since heat is being added to evaporate this substance, its potential energy is increasing. Which temperature change indicates an increase in the average kinetic energy of the molecules in a sample? Please note that these answer choices are given both in degrees Celsius and Kelvin. So we need all the answer choices to have the same units if we're going to properly evaluate which one shows an increase in average kinetic energy. The only answer choice that shows an increase in temperature is answer choice 1. 273 degrees is needed to add to the degrees Celsius to convert to Kelvin. So when we do that with this value, we see that 273 plus 15 is equal to 288. 288 Kelvin equals 15 degrees Celsius. 288 to 298 shows an increase in temperature. All the other answer choices show a drop in Kelvin. Therefore, we can eliminate any of those answer choices, and the correct answer is 1. Which sample of copper has atoms with the lowest average kinetic energy? Okay, hopefully you're seeing a pattern. When you think average kinetic energy, think temperature. So all we have to do is look at the temperature value in order to determine which substance has the lowest. The only one that has the lowest is the one at 15 degrees Celsius. Since temperature does not depend on the mass of the substance, the mass is irrelevant. Therefore, answer choice 4 is the correct answer. So again, when dealing with temperature, temperature always equals average kinetic energy. So to evaluate which list of substances shows highest or lowest, we need to use the temperature value in order to determine the average kinetic energy of that substance. Don't get tripped up if the temperature values are in different units. To convert degrees Celsius to Kelvin, we add 273. Hopefully this helps, and thank you for watching.